So today I'm going to be putting my nose on the brand new Dior Sauvage Eau Forte. Okay, so this one's still sealed up. I'm going to be trying it live on camera for the first time. This one's interesting because it is a water-based fragrance, but it's a parfum concentration. So right there on the front, parfum, alcohol-free, Eau Forte. And there have been a few water-based fragrances put out before, and typically, at least to my recollection, they're not usually parfums. They're usually on the weaker end of things as far as concentration. And so for most people, when you see alcohol-free, you immediately turn your head and look the other way. So I'm wondering if they can pull this off, given that it's a parfum, if it has good performance and it can really hold up to the price tag. Maybe this will start becoming something that more brands look into. And if they can make this work, I would be open to it as well. So let's go over the price real quick. I paid full retail for this, 100 ml for $193. By the time I factored in shipping and tax, it was about $215. So this one definitely isn't going to be cheaper than any of the other Sauvage fragrances, although price per milliliter wise, it is more affordable than the Elixir. So here we have our bottle. Not a huge difference, although you can tell at the bottom, the way the gradient is set, that looks a little bit more pronounced there, kind of a wider layer down there at the bottom. You take a look at the Eau de Toilette and you don't have that, right? So side by side, there's a slight difference, but for the most part, they're keeping all the other details the same. And I guess the reason why it is like that is because it looks like milk. Okay, so let's go ahead and just get right into it. Atomizer is Christian Dior level, but man, this stuff comes out really light, really thin. So off the opening, kind of has a more woody pronounced kind of smell to begin with here. It's not really smelling super peppery, super bergamot forward, super ambroxan heavy. It's woody, it's a little bit spicy. Has more of like a classic OG kick to it. Now I'm not going to say this is an aromatic fougere or a citrus aromatic or a woody spicy like older school style scent full on, because this does still maintain more of a modern smell. But it definitely does kind of work its way back to something a bit more traditional. You know, if you've smelled things like Chanel Platinum Egoiste and other, you know, more modern style aromatic fougères, this kind of reminds me a little bit of that style. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that style somewhat. It really doesn't have a ton of a blue fragrant smell to it like Sauvage Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum has. So let's take a look at the note breakdown. It's kind of vague, and I can't find it on Dior's website. We're going off of iFragrance. We've got bleached lavender, cold spices, woody notes, and musk. That's all they give us here. And really, I mean, that's a pretty good representation as far as what I'm getting. The woods, big time prominent. More of a cedar going on here, a spicier type of woody accord. Definitely getting an aromatic, fresh, clean, and somewhat soapy lavender. For sure, some spices, and on a nice bed of musk. All of that makes sense. You know, one thing that you're not seeing in that note breakdown, again, is all of the bergamot and all of the ambroxan. And you're not really seeing that or smelling that in this fragrance either. I am liking this, okay? Now, again, it's 193, it's a parfum concentration, but it's water-based. This is a first impressions video. I have no idea how this is going to perform. I can't say that, oh, well, you know, Sauvage Parfum and Elixir performs good, so maybe this will too. We're talking completely different things here. So that will have to be covered in a future video. And a lot of that will determine whether or not this price tag will be worth it. And really, first and foremost, I mean, retail prices for all these designers are crazy to begin with. So if I'm talking if it's worth the price, I'm more thinking ahead discounter price once it does hit there. And the trend lately has been fragrances hitting discounters quicker than they ever have before. So I do want to read a little bit about this one here. Again, this is also iFragrance. To translate the power of water, I reinvented the signature freshness of Sauvage, moving away from the traditional citrus notes of lemon and bergamot to capitalize on the vibrant freshness of cold spices. Thanks to the alcohol-free formula, I was able to prolong this freshness to the extreme, which, okay. Sauvage Eau Forte challenges the limits of freshness. And definitely it does have more of a cooling, kind of powerful smell to it, whereas Sauvage Eau de Toilette, it kind of has a shower gel smell, but it's citric and bright and peppery and strong. This one has more of a smooth, low-key, kind of refined delivery to it. Definitely woody, definitely a nice spicy kick to it, definitely aromatic and smooth. I do really enjoy it. It smells pretty much nothing like the original or the Eau de Parfum or the Parfum or the Elixir. And so I think as far as a redundancy factor is concerned, that's kind of mitigated. I don't think this is going to be one that blends in too much with any of the others at all. Kind of like Sauvage Elixir, a Sauvage for people who don't like Sauvage, I could see this being the same thing as well. Now, if Sauvage Elixir was too strong, too masculine, maybe a bit too old school for you, this might be something that kind of tames that down and gives you another option to jump into the Sauvage lineup if the others didn't work for you. Again, it's weird to turn this bottle over and see that, right? Very, very odd, but you know, that's just kind of how these are. And I will admit, it does give the bottle kind of a cool look too, and from a little bit of a distance, you can kind of differentiate this with the others, but of course you have Eau Forte on the front as well. I really like that this is a true parfum concentration, and I'm excited to see how this one performs. So I have it on my skin right now. I'm gonna let it push, and at some point, if not in a standalone review video, I'll cover it in a list or something at some point in time. I might put out a full review on this one after a while, after I test it more, but it might also find its way into some lists as well, especially if I continue to wear it here as we're still moving our way through the warmer time of the year. It's not a bad time to be wearing this. You know what? It almost reminds me a little bit of Dior Homme Sport 2021. It's been eating away at me as I've been smelling this one. I'm like, it reminds me of something a little. If I had to say or kind of provide you with another fragrance to help put it into perspective on what category this one sits into, has a little bit of a woody Dior Homme Sport 2021 smell to it. I'm not saying it smells exactly like it. I'm not saying it smells exactly like anything, but just to give you an idea of where this one sits. It definitely doesn't hang out in the crowd of Bleu de Chanel and Dylan Blue and Aqua Atlantique and Sauvage Eau de Toilette or Rassasi House or anything like that. This is definitely more mature, more refined, more sophisticated, which is probably a warm welcome to a lot of people, considering most all of the new releases are sweet and bubblegummy and sweet, to double down on that. And as it continues to settle here on my skin, the woods are just coming through even more prominent. Nice cedar here. I think that's where we're gonna leave it. That covers most of what I can cover right now. Performance is gonna be the next big thing, right? We'll see how it goes. I hope it does well, because that would be a big disappointment. And I think this kind of goes without saying, but quality, it's fine. It's about what you would expect out of a Dior. I don't think I've smelled a single Christian Dior that had poor quality. I mean, they charge an arm and a leg for these, but they really do deliver well in terms of their wearing experience based around the quality. They don't smell cheap. They don't smell overly synthetic, except for maybe you have an argument there with Sauvage Eau de Toilette, but they do smooth that out throughout the rest of the line and throughout all of their other fragrances in general. So let me know down below in the comments. I want to hear from you. What do you think of water-based fragrances? If they can pull these off and if they can make them parfums that last, do you like that? Do you care or not? Also, let me know if you're going to be buying this one or not, right? It's expensive. I know not everybody wants to buy it probably, but if you're excited to try it, let me know. If you're not excited to try it, also let me know. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this? And if you have already tried it, of course, let me know too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.